Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Rapidi's webinar about data integration. Today, we'll be diving into the world of maximizing business energy and exploring the powerful integration between Microsoft Dynamics 365 ERP and Dynamics 365 sales integration. I am Serene Tui. I'm a sales consultant at Rapidi, and I'm excited to be a host for today. Here with me, my esteemed colleague Andrea. Andrea is a data integration consultant, and she will guide you through the essential aspects of data integration and Rapidi innovative solution. So let's take a look at today's agenda. We will have an introduction to Rapidi so that you know who we are and what we do. Then we will discuss the importance of integration. Third topic will be Rapidi integration solutions. And then, of course, we'll explain how we work on the integration between MS Dynamics 365 ERP and Dynamics 365 sales integration. Then I will tell you a little bit about some of our customer testimonials, and I will explain how you can get started with us. In the end, we will have a Q&A session, so feel free to write all of your questions in the chat. So, a little bit about Rapidi. So, Rapidi has over 30 years of data integration expertise. Our journey as data integration experts started back then when Microsoft was still called Navision. Our CEO, Michael Bulk, was still part of that group back then, and today he's still playing an important role at Rapidi. We specialize in data integration for solution for two of the major players of the tech world, which are Salesforce and Microsoft. And we can integrate any variety of other solutions to meet your unique business needs. What sets us apart? So our solution is flexible, simple, and robust. We are using the cutting-edge cloud technology that requires no programming, so it's easy for everyone to do. Our customers are rating us with the highest rate in both of App Exchange and also for the support. And now I would like to hand over to Andrea. So Andrea, over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So next part, so we'll cover this section, and this is about integration and why it's important. From our point of view, we believe that integration is, it should be simple and straightforward for any company. So we want to make sure that the entire process will be easy and as straightforward as possible for you. Why do you need to integrate? So you'll see here 4 buckets, and first of all, it's all about collaboration. So when you integrate your systems, then you are able to activate existing data. So this means that you get a full customer overview, and then you enable your teams to collaborate more. The second bucket, which is, again, very important, and this is something that all companies want. So what you want to do, you really want to avoid double data entries, right? So this means that there will be no switching between systems. You will eliminate rework, and then in the end, you get to have process automation. And then the third bucket would be quality. So of course, you want consistent data. You want to see the same thing across the board. So if you integrate your systems, then you get to have data that you can trust, of course, and then based on that, you can build better reports, and then you have increased user adoption. The last bucket is growth. So when you integrate your systems and your data is flowing through, you don't have any type of data issues, then you do get to have a better decision support. So this means that you will have an increased customer satisfaction. And if your customers are happy, of course, you'll sell more and faster. And why is it so important to integrate? So first point is that it streamlines your business processes. So then you get real-time data synchronizations. Your data from one system will flow into the other system, and everything will be correct, right? So you don't need to think about data missing or data being incorrect in any of the systems. You do get to have improved decision-making, and end users will have a higher productivity because users will spend time on things that matter. They will spend time on priorities, right? So this leads me to the last point on the list, which indicates that if you integrate your systems, then you reduce or eliminate data silos, you do get rid of manual processes, and then you do reduce communication gaps between the teams. So the main idea is to integrate to elevate. So you want to make sure that your systems talk to each other, the data is being transferred correctly, and then your company will be definitely more successful. Then, of course, the next section is about Rapidi data integration solutions. So what we think is that data integration can be made easy and straightforward for anyone. Now, what we want to say by that is that Rapidi is an innovative iPaaS. So we focus on simplicity. We want to make sure that the design is simple for you, and the same thing for installation and use. We don't want to overcomplicate things or just give you headaches when you try to integrate your systems. And Rapidi is a cloud integration system that will provide you with pre-configured templates, mapping templates that you can use to quickly integrate various systems. And of course, we do have extensive expertise when it comes to integrating the Microsoft Dynamics ERP, Salesforce, or any other systems. Speaking of all the other systems, so here you'll see the Rapidi's most common endpoints. So of course, we have focused a lot on building integrations between Microsoft Dynamics ERPs and Salesforce, but our work is not limited to that. We do work on other type of integrations, and that involves other systems. So we can talk about the Microsoft Dynamics Sales, which is the CRM. We can talk about HubSpot. We'll have SQL databases, Oracle, and any other systems that exist on the market. Of course, maybe you don't see one specific system here on the list, but that's not a problem because we just need to know what we want to do, which systems should be integrated, and based on the information that you provide, we can work on it and find a way to actually build the integration for you. And that being said, when it comes to Rapidi, so we do, of course, work a lot with Salesforce because this is, the CRM chosen by a lot of customers, but also with the D365 Sales, which again is another CRM that is chosen by various customers. So when it comes to integrations in general, Rapidi is an iPaaS with no staging of your data. So it's easy for you to set it up. You don't need any programming experience. You don't need to be a developer or try to, go through a learning curve, or you don't need to put any type of effort into that. We can connect multiple systems via the platform. So it means that if you have various legal entities or, a specific number of systems, we can definitely do that. And when it comes to data, you can synchronize any data. It can be standard, custom, anything that you have in your system. There's no limitation with regards to that. And of course, our subscriptions and services are all inclusive in the sense that you get everything from the very beginning. So from the moment you choose Rapidi, you'll know exactly what to expect, right? So you'll go through the implementation project, and then after you go live, you will have lifetime support from the team. So it means that when you're running in the production environment, you will be able to reach out to our support team for any issues, questions, or anything that you have happening in your company. And of course, another important part would be the transfers or data flows that we have between the Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central and the 365 Sales. What you see here on the screen, so you'll see a list, and this list actually represents those mapping templates. So when it comes to Business Central, you'll have customers, which will be synchronized as accounts in D365 Sales. And then you have contacts, items, prices. The opportunities from sales will be sent over to Business Central as sales orders. And of course, sales orders can be synchronized both ways if you want to send updates, for example. And of course, posted sales invoices and credit memos, which would go into D365 sales as negative sales invoices. And the last point there is a very valid one in the sense that if you have any other custom or any other standard objects that you want to integrate, those can be added. The point is that we do have our pre-configured mapping templates, which are ready to be used, and those were built based on the standard objects that you will see in both of these systems. Of course, maybe your case is different and you have custom objects or you have something slightly different. That's not an issue because you can use the mapping templates as a starting point and adjust them according to your needs. So if you say, okay, we do have all the list here that's on the screen, but also some custom objects that we want to integrate. So you can definitely go with the mapping templates, use them as they are, and then add the custom objects to the list. So then you can also transfer the data for those specific situations. But of course, we have built the mapping templates for Business Central and D365 Sales because we want to make sure that once you start working on the integration project, you do not spend a lot of time on mappings or on configuring any of those fields. And everything that has been configured based on the standard objects. So it means that we do not require customers to create custom objects or any, they don't need to do any type of customization just to support the mapping templates. So we have used everything that's standard, and of course we have tried to limit as much as possible any customization or anything that's extra, right, in any of these two systems. So that's something that you need to keep in mind when you go through this type of integration. And then we have the quote to cash example. So you would have in Dynamics 365 Sales, the lead, and then you get to have account and contacts. And of course, this information can be sent over to your Business Central environment or any of the other ERPs. So you can send over the customers' contacts and have the same data in both systems. And then next you have the opportunities that would be in your CRM, and then you send them over to the ERP as sales orders. When it comes to sales orders, you can also send any information back and forth if you have any updates that need to be transferred. And then next you'll have invoices and then credit memos, which would be sent to your ERP, and you'll have to your CRM, and then all the information would be updated correctly. So everything would be in sync in both systems. In a lot of cases, you might have your transfer set up to run just in one direction, but of course, there are so many cases when customers want those transfers to run in both directions. So it means that you can decide how data needs to be transferred. Do you want to go one way or both ways? So it's something that that's up to any customer, and you can do that via the mapping templates. Of course, another thing that you will see is that apart from accounts, contacts, and transactions in general, you also have the possibility to transfer product information, right? So then you will have your items in your ERP, which would be reflected as products in your CRM. And the same thing applies to prices. You can do the same thing. All your prices can be also transferred over to your CRM, and then you'll have everything updated in both systems. So as you've seen in the previous slides, this everything that you see here as well, this would be the standard object, what's actually available in any of those environments. However, if there's anything that's custom and you want to have it included because this is how you work, then that's perfectly fine. We can accommodate that and make sure that the mapping is done correctly. Then we'll go through another part, which is Rapidi's key functionalities. So you have data mapping transformation. The second point would be real-time synchronization, customization, scalability, automated workflow, security measures, and monitoring and analytics. So the first one that we had there, so when it comes to mapping and transformation, you can map and transform any type of data between your systems. So you can have, let's say, a Dynamics ERP, and a CRM, which can be, let's say, Salesforce, or it can also be D365 Sales. So you can use the pre-built templates to actually start your integration. And like I said, they can be adjusted, changed according to your needs. And of course, second point is that we have support for custom data fields. So we want to make sure that if you have specific use cases when you need to use, let's say, custom fields or custom objects, then we can also include that in the mapping. So we want to make sure that you do get all the flexibility that you need. And then, of course, Rapidi offers a data mapping interface, which is intuitive, and it will allow you to customize your transfers at any point in time. Maybe when you started integration, you configured everything in a specific way, but then time passes by and you decide that, of course, some changes need to be implemented. So at that point, you can go back, customize your transfers, make sure that they reflect your business processes, and then you're done. Next one would be real-time synchronization. So this is very important for all companies. You do want to make sure that your information is up to date in both systems. What you have in your ERP, you also want to have in your CRM. So you do get updates on everything that you have. Opportunities, customers, contacts, interactions, anything that's actually within the company, and it's very important for the sales teams. And when you have your real-time synchronization, then you minimize data latency and you improve decision making. So you don't have to go into every system, input the data, and then hopefully everything will be correct. Everything will be transferred via the integration. So this is just a matter of minutes. You have everything there, and then both teams. So if you have teams that are using only the CRM, they can get the information, and then the teams using the ERP can also get everything from there. And then customization and scalability, so we can adapt to unique processes and structures, and we do ensure scalability. So you can be a very small company or a huge enterprise. It doesn't really matter, because then we are able to provide you with the right solution. And of course, customization is provided based on your industry-specific needs. Then we have automated workflows. So as we discussed before, Rapidi's automated workflows will streamline your business processes. So this means that any repetitive tasks will be automated, and you will reduce manual effort, and you will minimize errors. And of course, the flexibility to customize any of your data flows, just to make sure that they match your specific business scenarios. And when it comes to security measures, of course, we are committed to data security and compliance. We have various encryption protocols, access controls, and many other security features. We do want to make sure that all companies feel safe when it comes to their business data. And of course, the last point is about monitoring and analytics. So we do have monitoring and analytics tools that are meant to track your integration performance. So any business can get a good insight into the data flows, and any company can see if there are any bottlenecks or performance issues. So this will give you the possibility to see how things are going, and whether you need to look into anything or not. So it's a way for you to understand how everything is working. And then another section is the sneak peek into other Rapidi functionalities. So we have a few functionalities listed that we want to go through. So the first one would be data flow action. So here, whenever you want to transfer data from one system to another, you have to think about the action that you want the system to perform. So do you want to create new records? Do you want to update records? Or do you want to do both, for example? Or any other action that you see here listed. So that's a trigger that will tell the system what to do. So when you start working on any integration, then you'll have to decide exactly what you need a system to do, so that you have the right information in both systems. Then we have link storages. So link storages are dynamic lookup tables. So they can store your company information within Rapidi. They are used by a lot of our customers because you do get to have a full list of the unique IDs that belong to specific records. So if you're to say you transfer customers from one system to another, then you can also store the customer numbers from the ERP and the customer IDs from your CRM here under link storages. And this will give you a full overview of what has been transferred, and then you will know exactly if everything is okay or not. Of course, link storages are also used just to get all that information correctly. And then apart from that, it can be referenced on other type of data flows. So whenever a transfer is running, then the link storage will be updated with either new records or will actually update the existing one if needed. So it's a very good way to actually keep all that data in Rapidi. And this is dynamic, it's not static. So you don't have to maintain it or do anything with it. It's something that the system will take care of. If you want to have a static one, you can also create it, that's fine. But this one, in general, we allow the transfer to do all this part. And of course, another functionality would be tags. So tags are parameters or variables that can be set up either at the connection or data flow level. It can have a lot of purposes, but I think the most common one is the following. In your ERP, you have, let's say, 5 legal entities, and you want to transfer data for all of them. So what happens is that you would set up a tag, right, this identifier for every legal entity. So when you do that, then all your data will be transferred for all those 5 legal entities via the tags. So it's a way to keep everything organized and centralized in the same place. And if you have 1 or 10 legal entities, it doesn't matter because they will all run via the same master transfer. So you will not need to have, one transfer for each legal entity and run it. No, you'll just have one data flow or transfer, and through that, all the legal entities will run, and data from each one of them will be sent over to your CRM. So it's a way to make sure that everything is in the same place and that the data is being sent correctly from every single entity. So Rapidi in a nutshell, so we do offer Microsoft ERPs and D365 sales integrations, but of course we do work with other systems as well. Like I mentioned, it can be a combination of other systems. So we work also with HubSpot, Oracle, SQL databases, NetSuite, in other systems. And we do provide a cost-effective model. So, and then in our case, the data integration, it's possible for both cloud and on-premise. So if you have on-premise systems that you want to integrate and you're thinking, oh, maybe it will not work, then you don't need to worry because we do work a lot with on-premise systems as well, and we are able to integrate them successfully. And then we do have robust development tools and the mapping templates, like I mentioned. A starting point, they will definitely save a lot of time, and it will allow you to spend more time on testing rather than mapping. And then it's approachable for non-IT users. So you don't need to have a resource that's specialized and someone that will need to maintain this integration. You can do that without that type of knowledge, so to speak. So you can do it, you can take care of it post go live. And now back to you, Sreen.
Thank you very much, Andrea. So I would like to summarize a little bit what you get as a customer of Rapidi. Rapidi is an all-inclusive investment model. It comes with the integration platform, the integration templates, and the Rapidi ongoing support. In our integration platform, you will have access to integration configuration, advanced data toolbox. You have access to log and notifications, monitoring, and of course the Rapidi connector. Then you have the integration templates that are complete business processes. They are pre-configured, they come with best practices, they are already customizable, and they come with detailed documentation. When it comes to our support, so you can have access to Rapidi support to maintain the integration, add fields to existing transfers, for the integration advisory, and of course to resolve data errors. And now let's go to the next section, which is the customer testimonials. So, as I already mentioned before, we are really proud of our happy customers from worldwide and through different industries. And you can see it reflected in the rating that we have. For example, we have the 5 stars as the average rating on major IT vendor platforms such as Salesforce, App Exchange, and Gartner Digital, etc. We also have the 5 stars average support rating in the past 5 years. And I would like to share with you a quote that we have from our customer, who's Lily Chen from Diamond Wipe International. And she said, Rapidi really provides a wonderful solution and has the best customer service ever. I would definitely recommend this company and love it. And now the next section, which is the customer case story. So before I dive into the customer, the challenges they had, and how we helped them, I would like to share another quote also from the IT team, as they mentioned that I would absolutely recommend Rapidi. I could not imagine our business without Rapidi. The system is very reliable and flexible, and they make lives as IT person so much easier. So the customer that we're going to share today is Educate 360. So Educate 360 are offering integrated learning and development solution in management and leadership, data science, and IT. They are a trusted industry leader with a long history, and their mission is to empower individuals and organizations with skills for success and technology-driven innovative economy. This company is providing flexible training programs for all the levels, and it's offering training in private group training and on-demand training via an e-learning management system. So they specialize in certification preparation, business analysis, and skill-based training with the goal to enhance organizational efficiency, alignment, and business outcomes. And now I would like to share some of the challenges they had before being a customer of Rapidi. So the first point is the acquisition and system disparity. So Educate 360 acquired several brands, and these brands operated on different customer management systems, including a homegrown system. Second point is that the integration issues with Microsoft Business Central. So the accounting department used Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, and they needed an integration. The custom-built APIs for integration with Microsoft Business Central posed some significant challenges. They also had the need for improved integration solutions. So the existing solution failed to meet their needs because they have a highly customized setup and high transaction volume. They needed to explore other alternative integration service platforms to find a viable solution. And as their business grows, they require the possibility to expand on their integration, as they acquired another company that uses Microsoft Dynamics 365 Sales as their CRM. And now I would like to tell some of the achievements and benefits they had since they started using Rapidi. So we enhanced the operational capabilities by transforming the operational processes. We're offering them expert support by the customization aided by Rapidi expert team. We also had further streamlined data flow by improving data flow and automated processes, and also increased the efficiency by the reduction in manual workloads and enhancement of operational efficiency. So what are the benefits of a successful integration? So it's the improved management, better handling of orders, customer information, and product data, the operational scalability, so the scalable solution for adding new brands and services, facilitating their growth. And of course, the future growth supports led groundwork for integration of add-in systems such as Dynamics 365 Sales and HubSpot without complex programming. And I would like to close this case story by another quote from Kevin Gilmore, who's the Director of Information Technology at Educate 360. And Kevin said, I highly recommend Rapidi to anyone facing integration challenges. Its performance, reliability, and support have been outstanding. Rapidi isn't just a tool, it's a partner in our growth. And now, next section, I would like to explain how you can get started with us. So if you're interested in Rapidi as a customer or also as a partner, it's easy. You can go to our website and fill in the contact form with your contact details, the project that you have in mind, and we will come back to you and schedule a meeting to discuss. I would also like to explain how we do the implementation process. So this is what we call the 5 phase approach. We use it to ensure a smooth implementation process. So when you reach out to Rapidi, we would start by a discovery. So it's the integration project scope validation and the project kickoff. We will then go to the onboarding. So it's basically onboarding you into a Rapidi platform and our online collaboration platform, which is Basecamp. Third step would be the configuration. It's the integration configuration on the Rapidi platform and the end user testing. Then we will go to deploy to production, which is the initial data synchronization, upload of historical data, and the actual cutover to the production environment. And finally, transition to support, which is the post-go live support, project closure, and transition to the operational support. And now let's go to the questions. I'm going to check if we have any question in the chat. Otherwise, we will start with the question that we prepared. Okay, I see someone asking about the recording. So yes, we'll be sharing everything later. So let's go to the first question. Why should we choose Rapidi integration platform instead of using other standard integration tools?
Okay, so here, point number 1 is that you get to have the mapping templates. So those are pre-configured. You get them as soon as you decide which systems you want to integrate, right? But in our case, when you get access to those templates, you can always customize, adjust them, do anything that's needed in order to meet your business processes. Whereas other standard integration tools will provide you with something similar. So you'll have, let's say, a standard integration setup. And within that, you'll have specific tables and specific fields that can be used as part of the standard integration. Unfortunately, in that case, you only get that. You are not able to customize in any way the standard integration that you get, and you cannot adjust it or modify it according to something that maybe will end up to be custom in your case. So the thing is that when it comes to other standard integration tools, you either go on the, use standard as your path 100% and you stay there with what they offer you, or you go on the custom part where you decide to build something else, and then that's the part where you get more flexibility from them. And then this is a huge difference, because we build the mapping templates because we want you to have a starting point and save your time, right? So then we want you to go ahead and start testing, right? Instead of spending time on mappings. But of course, those are not, let's say, locked in the sense that, this is what I get. I cannot change this, I cannot change anything and that's it. No, you can modify, add new fields, or maybe use a different object that you have. So it's up to discussion what you want to do with them. So I think that's a major point of view, and it's very important because you don't have any type of surprises afterwards. Mm-hmm. And then of course, point number 2 is you will get support post go live. So this means that at least on our side, that you get any help, assistance from our support team once you go live. So when you're in the production environment, you can run into issues, you might have questions, it can be anything, then you can always reach out to the support team and get help and get, the right assistance. Whereas with the other standard integration tools, support is not by default included in your subscription or your contract. So that's something that needs to be discussed. And I think a lot of companies believe that support is by default included, but it's not. So you have to make sure from the very beginning that you have it included. And if you don't, then you have to make sure that you do get it some way or another post go live. But of course, this means that you have to an additional cost, because it's not something that will be offered by other platforms, freely, so to speak. And of course, the third point would be transparency. In our case, we do tell you from the very beginning what you will get. So this refers to the integration project, to the overall cost that you will get, everything that has to do with your subscription and your project, and everything. So you will not have any type of surprises when it comes to all those factors. But on the other hand, the other integration tools, then you have to make sure that the contract is clear, because there are so many situations when you have something specified within the contract, and that's like a starting point, and then you will have additional cost later on because some of the features were not included or were not part of your initial setup. So it more goes into like a T&M thing. So then you end up paying more, and you don't have a clear idea of how much you are going to pay in the end, because it's not something clearly defined from the very beginning. So these are like, three things. Of course, we can talk more about it, but just, the most important ones.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. Let's go to the next question. So how to set up your data integration project in 3 steps?
Yeah, so here I think the first one, which is the most important one, define your integration scope. Make sure that you are 100% sure about the scope and what you want to do via this integration. Sometimes, when you want to move away from, a manual process, you tend to, have too many ideas or just throw everything out there. But you have to think about, if this is going to help your teams, right? So the integration scope has to be very clear. So everyone needs to know what this integration will do. And of course, what does this consist of? Like, what exactly do you want to transfer? Do you want master data? Do you want transactions? Like, what exactly you want to do? And then, of course, it's very important to connect to your systems. So this is the point where we usually need assistance from our customers, because, of course, we need to be able to connect to the systems and read the information from there. So that's, again, something that needs to be done, and it requires assistance and support from the customers. And then, of course, synchronize your data. So this means that if you were to use the mapping templates, then you can go ahead and start testing, and then you can review the results and see if they are good, if they actually reflect your current process, or if we need to adjust that or not. So those are the main steps, I think, for any company.
Okay. Thank you. Next question is, how can we ensure the best data mapping?
Yeah, so I think here it's very important to know your data, basically. So you have to know, okay, in your ERP, how is your data organized, and what type of data do you have? So for example, if you were to say, I want to transfer customer data from my ERP to my CRM, you have to make sure that you do have the right structure in both systems. If you have in your ERP too many restrictions on the fields that you are using, but your CRM is completely free from that point of view, then that can become a problem, right? Because you want to make sure that you are consistent in both systems. So if you have restrictions in one system, do the same in the other one. And of course, for example, if you're using pick lists, which is the most common way of restricting a field, then you have to make sure that they match, right? What you have in one system, have it in the other one. Sometimes companies, have restrictions in their ERP. They have those pick lists, but then those things are not maintained in the CRM as well. So this causes issues along the way, because the values don't match, and then you will end up troubleshooting a lot. So then the idea is that you have to make sure that If you want it to be extremely restricted, then perfect, do it in both systems. And if not, then yeah, make sure that you have the same thing in your ERP and CRM. And this will help you to have, a really good mapping process in place. As soon as you clearly know what you need to have in ERP and what needs to actually be sent over to your CRM, then you will definitely be good to go. But like I said, if things are not aligned, then it's hard to have a good data mapping. So align that first, make sure they match, make sure that you have the same process in both systems, and then you can map the fields and get the information into your CRM, or the other way around, into your ERP.
Okay, thank you again, Andrea. And the next question is why it's best to be prepared when handling errors.
Yeah, so I think this is something that has to be done from the very beginning. So early stages of any project, to get used to errors and handling them. And the best place to do that would be a sandbox or a test environment. When you are testing and you go through your use cases, then that's the moment when you'll see errors. And when you see them, then you'll definitely need to understand what they mean and what you need to do in order to fix them. So skipping that part is not a good idea. So you have to definitely get familiar with them and be prepared for the production environment. If you run your UAT correctly and you go through all your use cases, you'll get the most common errors, right? And the same thing can happen in production. But of course, even though it happens in production, you will be prepared. So you will already know what that means and what you need to do. One thing that any company needs to know is that 99% of these errors are data-related errors.
Okay.
So they have to do with data, not with other things. So it means that data, what you have in your ERP is not the same thing, what you have in your CRM. So then you have this mismatches in terms of how the data is being, inputted or added into the system. So it's more like fixing things that have to do with data. But of course, even though these are just small fixes that you will need to do, it's good to get started early. Do that during UAT, test as much as possible, see all the errors that you could possibly see in a testing environment. Get familiar with that, understand those errors, and have a clear picture of what needs to be done when you move into production.
Thank you, Andrea. I see that we have a question in the chat, but Beata answered. I don't know if you have anything to add regarding this topic.
Oh,
The adoption guide.
pre-adoption guide. So I think, if you were to talk about Business Central and D365 sales, then maybe we can share some of the guides that we have, like the documentation. Maybe that would be something that would give more insight into this integration and how it would work. But I think we also have on the website, we have we have our blog. So then we have a lot of articles that you can check. But yeah, I'm assuming we can definitely send a guide to you if you're interested in this type of integration.
Awesome. We will share that by email. Next question is which system does Rapidi support?
So I think this one, so we covered a bit in the very beginning, and we mentioned, of course, there are quite a few systems that we support. And I think here, well, apart from what we mentioned, so we're talking about the Microsoft Dynamics ERPs and CRM, of course, Salesforce. We're talking about Oracle databases, SQL databases, HubSpot, or any other systems that you might have. The idea is that if you have one system and you're not sure if we support that, then you can reach out and share with us any documentation that you have with regards to that system, how we would connect to that system and what's specific to it. So that's one way to do it. And that's something that we do with current customers that ask us about specific systems that they are using. So once we get the more documentation about that system, then we'll be able to investigate and see how we can connect and how we can help you with the integration. So it's just, yeah, if you don't see it on the list, you don't need to worry. You can reach out and ask us, okay, do you support the system, right? So then we can just look at it and of course provide you with clear and transparent feedback whether we can do it or not.
Awesome, Andrea. Thank you. So another question. So do you support custom objects?
Yes, so this is a very common question that we get because, well, when you say standard, then a lot of people think that standard is standard, so there's no place for custom, right? So there's no room actually for custom. But in our case, there is, because it's like a hybrid, right? So you do get the mapping templates, which are built based on standard objects, but those can be extended to custom as well. So you can do that as well. And I mean, you don't have to use the mapping templates if you don't want to. You can also have a completely separate setup that involves custom objects and just, do it from scratch and have that configured, and then that would be it. So it's just, I think the mapping templates are there just to help you start a project and, make sure that you get value out of everything soon. But if that's not something that's, good for you, then you can go completely on the custom objects and configure that and have all the transfers set up.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. Last question. Why should we choose Rapidi integration platform instead of building integration by ourselves?
Yeah, so before anything, like, we should mention that, if you build something by yourself, it's just a very, very personal choice. Yeah. So, but then if you were to think about other factors, I think I would say it's better to choose a platform such as Rapidi, because Rapidi is a platform that has proven to work. So it's a tool that's already there and supports, everything that you need to do. Whereas when you're building something yourself, this is a long process. You go through a learning curve, and this involves resources, and it involves a higher cost. And again, if you were to talk about, if you want to be efficient, then you go for a platform such as Rapidi, because you get that done really fast and you don't need to worry about anything else. But if you want to, if this is just like a personal thing, or you want to go through this entire journey, then you go and build something yourself, but you have to expect a lot of things, bumps on the road, because then you are in a discovery phase first, and then have additional costs, and you will need specialized resources, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think it's just up to any company, but I think just to make sure that we keep in mind the costs and the resources needed and the time that you would spend, I would definitely choose a platform such as Rapidi.
Thank you, Andrea. And as we wrap up today's webinar, I would like to thank you for watching. We invite you to visit our website. You can find solution overviews, more case stories, fact sheets, and detailed documentation. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And of course, we'd be happy to have feedback about today's webinar. You will find the link here in the chat. We will also share this presentation, the case story, and the link by email. And if you have any suggestion, question, or about other topics for the next webinars, we will be really happy to know. Thank you again, and wish you a good day. See you soon.